everybody, welcome back to Heels and Hormones. I haven't done a video in ages and I have been slow on blog posts, so sorry. As you know, I've been off getting married. If you're following me on Instagram, it's at Heels and Hormones. But yeah, I post everything on there, basically what I'm up to. So I've had a little time off and I just thought I should come on and do a video, basically a kind of update on life and illness. I'm not going to drone on all about what endometriosis is and da-da-da. I have a blog post explaining that on my blog, heelsandhormones.net, if you want to check it out. But in short, I have tissue growing in my body that shouldn't be there, and it caused a whole host of problems. I've had 2 surgeries for my condition, the most recent being last December, and I'm finally starting to feel better. I wasn't even prepared for how long my recovery was really going to be, but I am seeing great progress, and if I look back at how my quality of life was before, like, it's a world of difference. So a lot of people might look at my Instagram, for example, and think, oh wow, I'm working, I'm have an active social life, and I am so lucky, and I don't take any of that for granted, because the reality is over the last few years I did really struggle. I wasn't able to do everything that a normal 20 odd something year old would do. I'm 28 now, by the way. I haven't been really able to exercise for the last few years properly because it always seemed to flare up my endometriosis. Like within a matter of minutes, I'll go from having a relatively flat stomach, and like I'm quite slim naturally. If I start trying to exercise in the gym, I just blow up like a balloon. Like, you wouldn't believe, my stomach just goes whoo, and goes super bloated, super painful, and I just will be in pain. My back, other muscles will spasm, all sorts of things seem to happen. And it's only really since my major surgery, I'm trying really hard to get back into a healthy lifestyle, but I really wanted to be able to do it from a social point of view. Like, I'd like to be able to go to an exercise class with my girlfriends, or go on a hike, or just be active and not worry. And also mental health, it's a great stress reliever. So lots of reasons why I want to exercise. But yeah, it's been a little bit tricky, because even though now I'm getting stronger and I can do so much more exercise than I could do before. Last weekend I had a little bit of an Insta rant on my Instagram stories. I just got really frustrated because I try and be so positive all the time and see, the improvements rather than what I can't still do. But as much as I do preach to have that outlook, it's impossible to keep up all of the time. And yeah, I just wanted to say, anybody else is going through similar struggles, I'm going to blame half of it on having PMS because I got my period later that day. But I basically was just fed up. We all have our bad days, and I'm not even going to lie, I went home, I had a cry, I needed a cuddle, I needed a rant, and sometimes you just have to give in and you have a bit of a shit day. It happens to all of us. You can't constantly be positive, and when you're dealing with these kind of things, it does affect you. It has a toll on your mental health. I think probably in the last 8 months, I found it more difficult to cope, even though I'm probably better than I've been in a long time. And I know that seems like an interesting concept, but I think I'm finally at the stage where I have to come to terms with never being as well as I would like. And what I mean by that is, over the last number of years, my whole way of coping with not being well has been focusing on ways to get better. So looking up the best doctors, researching, not taking advice from doctors I didn't trust, or people always said, oh, you just have to manage it, you just have to take painkillers. And I was like, no, I'm not living my life like this. I need help, and I'm not going to stop until I get some. And I'm really glad I had that outlook because it, spurred me on to do the research and find a good doctor. And I had proper, highly skilled excision surgery, which I've also detailed on my blog if you want to check that out for more details. But basically, I think all of that was kind of keeping me going. And since I've had the surgery, which is the kind of end goal, that's when it all hit me. I am drastically better than I was, but I'm never going to be without issues. So I think the kind of acceptance of my diagnosis was like delayed for me. This year I've had to actually go through the process of, accepting it and realizing that this is my normal, and I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Obviously it is something that can progress, it can get worse again. It's difficult. Somebody my age, I never really expected to have these struggles, and I know that sounds so ignorant. It's the kind of unknowns. I don't know if I'm going to have issues with fertility. Obviously, touch wood, I don't, but it's those kind of thoughts in my head that now I've actually had to deal with, which I always was putting off because I was focusing on, no, I'm going to find the best treatment, I'm going to find something to help, I'm going to, my quest for wellness does continue, but I feel like at the moment I don't have any major options anymore. It's been bloody difficult. It's really weird. I didn't expect it to hit me like it has. Like, I've had anxiety, which I've never ever had before. I've just had some periods of being really down, and it's been a bit of a roller coaster year. Like, I've had, obviously, my wedding and everything was incredible, and I'm so lucky. I've had so many amazing things happen this year, but it has been the best year and the worst year of my life. And I know I probably sound really dramatic because there's people going through so much worse. For me, it was difficult to even start discussing because I didn't want people to think less of me for being ill. And there is a kind of a stigma attached. Like, I didn't want it to affect me getting work. I didn't want people to not invite me to things anymore. Like, I have all of these worries, and I know they're ridiculous. It's very, very important to realize, and something that I have only really realized in the last few months, is that your mental health is just as important as your physical health, and a lot of the time they kind of go hand in hand. You can't just look after one without the other. And I was purely focusing on my physical health for a long time until it finally started to affect my mental health. So yeah, whether it's finding a counselor so you have somebody else to talk to, if you're finding it difficult to open up to friends and family, that's fine. Whether you can have one friend or a partner or somebody that you really feel like you can tell those intimate details to and get things off your chest, do. Like, whether it's finding a support group online or a support group in person, you can go to some, have a little look on endometriosis.co.uk, I think it is. I know they put up when they have support groups. I've been to one and it was really, really good. Just finding people that can understand and relate. Sometimes it's easier to talk to people like that. You can always DM me on Instagram. I always am happy to talk to girls going through the same thing. But whatever it is, whether it's mindfulness, meditation, exercise, a creative outlet, whatever it is that works for you, that's great. But don't forget to find yourself an outlet to discuss your frustrations, because trust me, they really, really build up. And sometimes it can hit you when you least expect it. It's the small things of getting out of the house sometimes, focusing on something positive that you do enjoy, can really help. So, yeah. And if you don't feel like that, don't feel bad either. Like, there's so many days that I'm like, do you know what? Today is cancelled. I will lay at home in my PJs with a hot water bottle, and you might know that I hate taking painkillers, but you know what? Sometimes I need it. So I would take my painkillers, put on really terrible chick flick, and that's my day. And I just ride it off because I know the next day will be better. So whatever way you want to deal with it, deal with it. And yeah, don't feel guilty for sometimes having to struggle. Every single person I know has something going on. We all are about highlight reels and showing only the best part of ourselves, but honestly, trust me, everybody's got their own things going on, and you shouldn't be ashamed of it, and it's what makes us us. So I'm Hannah, and I have a lot going on about me, but one of those things is I have endometriosis, and that's not going to change. So I need to embrace it, but I also hope that I can open people's eyes to it so they can understand me better. And yeah, I think that's all my ranting for today, guys. Over and out. I'll talk to you next time.